No singing. This is a Mother's Day reading. In 1872, Unitarian Julia Ward Howe began advocating the creation of a Mother's Day for Peace, to be held on June 2nd each year. The following year, 18 cities held such a gathering. Bostonians continued to observe the day for more than a decade, while some cities continued the observance until the turn of the century, when the annual Mother's Day for Peace appears to have died out. In 1907, Anna Jarvis, a Methodist, began a campaign to establish a permanent Mother's Day. By the following year, the YMCA had taken up the cause, and in 1914, Woodrow Wilson signed a congressional resolution establishing Mother's Day in the United States. In time, the day came to be marked in many other countries. Jarvis was troubled by the commercialization of the day, saying, and I quote, "I wanted it to be a day of sentiment, not profit. Inalterably opposed to the sale of flowers, but not the giving of homegrown blossoms, she also lamented the advent of the Mother's Day card, describing it as, and I quote, a poor excuse for the letter you are too lazy to write." Interestingly enough, Mother's Day is the most heavily attended Sunday in North American churches outside of the Christmas and Easter seasons. In Unitarian Universalist congregations, the day has increasingly taken on a sense of being a day to mark the contributions of all women. There ends the reading. Celebrating mothers. An annual celebration of the work and worth of mothers has become both a religious observance and a most profitable commercial occasion, particularly here in America, where the day originated. As Mother's Day approaches, the stores are filled with eager shoppers striving to find something unique or even custom gifts, some sent to distant parts of the world, cards and flowers to bring a quick smile of appreciation to lips and to light up eyes. Some mothers will receive Hallmark cards, champagne brunches, expensive jewelry, and a memorable day full of love and laughter. Some mothers awaken to the fragrant aroma of coffee, burnt toast, overcooked eggs, and handmade cards drawn with love. Some mothers abandoned in anger face isolation, illness, and loneliness, sharing meals with the white noise of television and radio. Anna Jarvis's love for her mother was the impetus for the national holiday. Her intention was that mothers would be recognized as an important part of our culture and of our life. The first Mother's Day was celebrated in her birthplace of Grafton, West Virginia in 1912. We celebrate Mother's Day on the second Sunday in May because Anna Jarvis's mother died on the second Sunday in May, 1908. The idea of a day set aside for the celebration of mothers evokes emotions as complex as the thought of mothers themselves. The relationship between mothers and children are often complex, beautiful, dark, and sometimes emotionally painful. I've met mothers who have been estranged from their adult children for 30 years or more. Many are just as perplexed by the reasons for the break as anyone else. The stories are numerous, and the reasons for them are as complex as the women and the children in the stories. The only difference is the added layer of motherhood to complicate matters. According to the poet Adrienne Rich, the relationship between mothers and daughters is very special because, and I quote, "there is probably nothing in human nature more resonant with charges than the flow of energy between two biologically alike bodies, one of which has lain in amniotic bliss inside the other, one of which has labored to give birth to the other. Rich continues saying that within that context, materials are here for the deepest mutuality and the most painful estrangement, end of quote. And that's because in the most loving of relationships, sometimes there's tension, whether it's between spouses, siblings, father and son, father and daughter, mother and son, or mother and daughter. I'm an only child who grew up surrounded by a multi-generational family of women, great-grandmother, her 3 daughters, and my mother. I still live by the values learned from these women who all mothered me. Moreover, apart from all of them, my mother and I had a mutual respectful relationship without interruption for most of my adult life. It wasn't until the last 10 years of her life that living with me as her carer that the occasional tensions arose. Because there is something about role reversals that makes small irritants seem larger than they really are. I'm also a mother to 5 adult children, 4 sons and 1 daughter. I have close relationships with all of them. Moreover, seeing them all in their adult roles as decent, kind people, that I allowed myself to acknowledge that as a mother, I did something right while I was just winging it at parenting. Lee Sharkey, Director of Women's Studies at the University of Maine at Farmington, informs that one of the things that all humans can identify with is some kind of relationship with a mother. And no relationship is quite as primal as the one between a mother and her daughter. It's the original relationship, and it's also one that has been sentimentalized but not honored. She continues saying that women grow up and our energy is largely turned toward men, but the original love relationship is with a mother. Moreover, if we as daughters don't acknowledge that, we're closing ourselves off from a great source of power, fulfillment, and understanding of ourselves. Each of us have stories about her. Each of us is somewhere on a path of dealing with the person we know as mother and her relationship to us. Mothers come in all shapes, sizes, colors, personalities, and temperaments. She's expected to take her daughter under her wing and teach her how to be a woman. In order to do this, you have to ask yourself what it means to be a woman. What does it mean to balance care for others with your own personal quest for meaning and joy in life? Moreover, how does a woman pass these lessons on to her daughter? While the hope of my mother for her daughter is that her offspring is healthy, happy, and can find her own path, it is undeniable that comparisons will be made between the two females, particularly if the mother has a strong personality. What did it mean to be a woman 50, 60, 70 years ago? Moreover, what does it mean today? Whether they are historical figures who changed the world, famous women we have welcomed into our lives, or fictional families we have grown to love, the impact of these women and their power as iconic mothers and daughters has been placed firmly in our collective minds. While there are few other mothers more known to the world than Mary, the mother of Jesus, it is as a daughter where Mary's upbringing and early life were formed. Accounts of Mary's mother, St. Anne, and Mary appear in New Testament apocrypha, noting the birth and upbringing of Mary. Anne, or Anna, as she is also known, was elderly and childless when she miraculously gave birth to Mary. The verses show how her parents adored her and how joyous her entry into their lives was. St. Anne is revered as a wise and spiritual woman in Eastern Orthodox Catholic Church traditions as well as Islam. As a mother, St. Anne's role in teaching her daughter is critical in Mary's own life as a mother. Few stories in literature have captured the mother and daughter dynamic as strongly as the tale of the March girls in Little Women. Not only do we see each daughter as a distinct female archetype, we also see how their mother, Marmee, interacts with each daughter. She gives advice and helps each of her daughters find their peace in life. Who can forget the fictional character Claire Huxtable Esquire, the beautiful attorney who understood the different personalities of her 4 beautiful daughters? She guided them through failed romances and crazy career choices with finesse and tough love. And what about Sophia Petrillo and Dorothy Zbornak on The Golden Girls? Their relationship is one of great admiration, aggravation, but untimely love. Albeit fictional, their story reflects a pairing throughout a lifetime and a universal relationship. From the mother raising her daughter, helping her through a difficult marriage and divorce, to moving in with her after suffering a stroke and their continued existence together at the end of their lives. There are many well-known mother-daughter duos that appear as perfect models in contemporary society. Some because of the success of the adult daughters, like Tina Knowles and her famous daughters, Beyonce and Solange, and former First Lady Michelle Obama and her daughters, Malia and Sasha. But they too were challenged in their roles as well. Tina Knowles informs that she sent both daughters to therapy in their early years because their personalities were so different, and she wanted to prevent a wall between them. It obviously worked because the adult siblings have a close bond. Mrs. Obama openly recalls the, quote, nightmare of keeping Sasha and Malia smoking and drinking out of the tabloids so that adolescent behavior wouldn't be exploited. Anita Diamant, author of The Red Tent, informs, and I quote, "The more a daughter knows the details of her mother's life, the stronger the daughter," end of quote. We often feel that mothers that we have fall short of filling our expectations, but sometimes taking a closer look at what we're asking may be unrealistic. And the mother is doing the best that she can with the tools that she has available to her. Famous or not, one can never be certain as to how or whether the mother's unique qualities will influence her daughter's interests or unique qualities, or if the daughter's interests and unique qualities will influence the mother. Actress Jamie Lee Curtis says that she believes the most complicated relationship that her mother, actress Janet Leigh, had, both loving and often cruel, was with her own body. Like anyone who becomes famous for what they look like, when that commodity starts to change, the relationship with it deteriorates. Now, while Jamie Lee Curtis's beauty has been compared to her mother's, she says, and I quote, "By acknowledging my own changing body, I rebelled against my mother's fear of it," end of quote. Now, the late Maya Angelou wrote a poem that crosses cultures in her description of women as being phenomenal. In their own unique way, all women are phenomenal. On this Mother's Day, let us pay homage to our birth mothers, the women who stood in for them to shape and mold us. Let us love them for what we can and forgive what we cannot love. Perfect or flawed, living or dead, They gave the gift of life and did the best they could with what they had to offer afterwards. Women who conceived, women who bore, women who reared, women who lost, women who let go, women who made different choices, and people of any gender who mother. Let us honor them all on this day. Happy Mother's Day. May each one know their worth to all of us. From my heart to yours, may it be so.